I saw Astro Boy this weekend, and you know what? It was okay. Just okay. But the okay parts were just the flying sequences. Just let me get into this. I'll tell you the story of Astro Boy. There was a Dr. Tenma. He was a great scientist and machine maker. I don't think that's proper term, but whatever. He made many machines, and he had a son, Tobio, or Toby, who he neglected, unintentionally of course, because of his busy work. So one day Tobio went off to see his father, but he got into a horrible car accident. Tobio died. After realizing this, Dr. Tenma became insane with grief. He tried to build a robot in his son's image to fill that void. Things didn't really work out. As the robot didn't really fill the void, and Dr. Tenma became disgusted with it, as in his superhuman strength, other things were not, and he sold him to the circus, to Hammock, and Hammock used him as main attraction. Then he broke loose. Then he fell in the hands of Dr. Elefante, or Dr. O'Shea, or Dr. Peapody. He's the bald guy with the bushy side of his hair and big nose. There's so many translation names. And the story goes on from there of him becoming the savior of Metro City, and his father being in the background, gone insane with grief, and becoming more villainous role. That is just a basic outline. In this version, they made it really overly lighthearted and far too literal. Dr. Tenma is a successful scientist. He's voiced by Nick Cage, which I think is a perfect role for him as Dr. Tenma, as he goes crazy, but in this film he doesn't. He just whines. And we got Ricky Highmore as Astro and Tobio, or Toby. I like saying Tobio. Say Tobio. Isn't that funner? Tobio. Anyway, but Tobio is totally different than he is in the manga or in cartoon series. And here he is a smartass, con artist, and computer wizard. As in Tobio is just a little boy. They had to make him mature for some reason. He was just a little boy that just wanted his father's love and attention. And here he does want that, but he does it in a far more conniving way, which I don't like. Astro Boy is supposed to be kind of like the every boy kind of thing, still questioning his humanity and all that kind of thing. And here, it's just DreamWorks it up. They're trying so hard to be Pixar, but just came off as DreamWorks, you know. And this is the guy who did this film, David Bowies, is the same guy who did Flushed Away, which was an okay film, but it did really too much more on sight gags. And there's a ton of sight gags in here that are just simply immature and do not fit in the Astro Boy universe, you know. It's not clever, it's not funny. Some parts are funny, some lines of dialogue are funny. Though they changed the origin how Tobio died. He died in a military accident. Oh, before I tell you that, you have Dr. Elephant, or Dr. Elephant. He's voiced by Bill Knightley, the same guy who did Victor in the Underworld movies. I forgot his name, but he does an awesome job as Dr. Elephant. And in here he finds blue core energy, which is good, red core energy, which is bad. And just like, could you be any more literal? Really? Do you really have to lowbrow this? Good, blue good, red bad. And just like, oh fuck, you just did lightsaber logic now, didn't yous? And I like Astro Boy. I love the concept of questioning humanity, but in this they just dumbed it down so much and kitty played it up. And it just doesn't work out, really. It comes off as a mistranslation. Of course, Astro Boy gets a blue core energy, and the evil president, who is voiced by Donald Sutherland, which he's the only funny character in here, who gets it and whatever. But most of the story is of not Astro Boy being Astro Boy, of Astro Boy being a lost boy. He falls in a group of Hammock, which he isn't a circus performer, but he runs Thunderdome. That's basically what he does. though we don't really see that. This film it's poorly paced, really slow, and it's a true mistranslation of the original work. And it really just does nothing really for that. And just they really dumbed down. I don't think David Bose understands the Japanese mindset of Astro Boy is just a futuristic Pinocchio, but it does that Blade Runner and Metropolis kind of themes of what does it mean to be human? Are robots, do they deserve rights? And it dives really deep into this. And we don't get any genuine Astro Boy villains. We don't get Death Cross, we don't get Atlas. They just make up some present villain, and the thing that they do with Dr. Tenma, the goatee black-haired guy who's voiced by Nick Cage, the thing in the original manga and in other anime adaptations, he's gone insane with grief and become a more villainous role. He's trying to create new robots to be more human and evolve. Well, in this, he just pusses out and just like, you're not my son, you're not my son. It's not my son. And like Astro Boy does nothing to provoke that. In the original manga, Astro Boy couldn't fit in. His pet dog didn't recognize, growled at him. He didn't eat. He powered down. He didn't sleep. He was simply just not human. He didn't do things like that. It's just like normal human conventions. He was too strong. He'd break door handles. He had no control, and in here he doesn't realize he's a robot. Throughout all the other animes and other adaptations, he knows he is a robot and trying to understand how can I fit into society and help people. And here it's just like he only becomes Astro Boy at the very end, and it feels like we've been cheated. And this film bombed in Japan because it doesn't have the Japanese mindset. It doesn't have the manga style or the intelligent nuances. It just feels like a failed DreamWorks project or experiment. They whiten it up too much. They simply do not get it. Other things like Dragon Ball Evolution did the same thing. They changed too much, but at least in here they do try to respect the source material, unlike Transformers or fucking Dragon Ball Evolution. And this and Speed Racer they both get an A for effort, but they still don't fully grasp both the concepts. But your kids will like it. My nephew loved it. So it can't be all that bad. I just wish that they'd make new pictures in Japan and probably translate here like what they did with Resident Evil Regeneration. That'd be fantastic. But sadly we got this, and didn't too well at the box office. It got a shitty movie tie-in game. Though two games I'd say check out Omega Factor and the one on the PS2. That's all I gotta say. I give this film 6 out of 10. That's mostly just for the flying sequences and the A for effort. The flying sequences are fucking beautiful. They are gorgeous. Of just asteroid running around, Metro City flying around. The things that really knocked this film back is Astro Boy flying up past robots and them like spitting out oils from their asses, as in equating to shitting themselves. Stuff like that does not belong in anime film. And it is just the cardboard cutout villains. Just like, ooh, he realized I'm evil. Look at negative energy. That's what made me. And just like, oh, fuck off. Could you be more tongue-in-cheekish? But it's being tongue-in-cheek in a way that it's kind of breaking the fourth wall. And just not that good. I already give my verdict why I'm bashing this film anymore. Freddie Highmore does a pretty good job. Eugene Levy's in it. That's about it. And I think it has too much British goofy ass comedy. It doesn't have the Japanese kind of tongue-in-cheek kind of humor to it. 6 out of 10. Bye.